Yay! Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Bannister, and welcome to Hack Frost NL. Tonight we have a super lineup, and we're really excited that everyone's here. We're up to 110 people, and we've got a fur-packed action kind of weekend for you. Joining me now is Kamal and Mohammed, and they'll do quick introductions, and we'll keep it going. We'll throw it over to you, Kamal.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for this great introduction. So hi, everyone. My name is Kamal. I'm a third-year computer engineering student at Memorial University of Newfoundland. I'm the lead organizer for Hackfrost NL. I'm so excited that you guys participate in this hackathon, and we're looking forward to it. So now over to you, Mohammed.
Thanks, Kamal, and thank you everyone for showing up. So my name is Mohammed. I'm a third-year computer engineering student. I lead the operation teams at Hackfrost NL. I do want to apologize for my lack of costumes. I'm not as prepared as Mike today, but that's cool. Yeah, so thank you for being here. It's very exciting to be part of this. There's like 111 of you there, which is like nerve-wracking, but we'll get through it. So yeah, thanks. Back to you.
Awesome. Yeah. So, folks, my name is Mike Bannister. I'll be your host for this evening and for the helping out with the ceremonies at the end. I volunteer with Hacking Health Global, and I've done a couple of hackathons myself. But I'm also a big mentor, hacker, and connector within our growing health innovation ecosystem. So I'm super excited I was super excited and still am when these guys reached out and asked for a helping hand, and I was more than happy to do so. So with that said, without further ado, we're going to get things started off. If you can fire up the presentation there, that's awesome. So we'll just flip over to the second slide there, Kamal. There you go. So we are officially sold out. We have over 200 participants from over 25 countries, which is amazing. This is the first Hackfrost NL, and I'm hoping that it won't be the last. But I am excited to see the amount of involvement from local folks, but all around the world is just an awesome sight to see. So with that said, I'm going to throw it back to Kamal, and he's going to have some. He's going to speak about our sponsors, and then we'll keep things going. So back to you, Kamal.
Thanks, Mike. So I just want to go over our sponsors quickly and give them a shout out. So without our sponsors, this event wouldn't have been possible. Due to their generous support, we would like to thank each of them individually. So for our diamond sponsors, so in no particular order, we have Balance Health Innovation, who will be giving a keynote later. And then we have the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Sciences at Memorial University. And last but not least, we have Verifin. Next, we have our gold sponsors. So we have Sequence Bio, we have the IEEE Canadian Foundation, Vision 33, and Memorial University's Center for Entrepreneurship. So actually, each of the gold sponsors, they would like to direct a message to the hackers. So I'm just gonna deliver those messages now. So Sequence Bio would like to say, Newfoundland is building a thriving tech community that will continue to find the smarter way and create amazing solutions for complex challenges. As a Newfoundland company striving to discover better medicines and disease treatments, Sequence Bio knows a thing or two about complex challenges and the amazing potential of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians to make a difference both here and around the world. We would like to congratulate the Hackfrost organizing team for their hard work and dedication. We would also like to commend all participants on dedicating their weekend to learning, collaboration, and finding new ideas. Good luck and have fun. So this is a message from Sequence Bio. And then the Memorial Center for Entrepreneurship, or MCE, they would like to say, MCE helps aspiring entrepreneurs at MUN and offers them the encouragement and guidance needed, along with the prizes that they'll provide. The winning teams will have the opportunity to access the MCE's services and get started on their entrepreneurial journey. Last but not least, Vision 33 would like to say that they are proud to be a gold sponsor for Memorial's first Newfoundland Hackathon. This event provides opportunities for students, for the student community to learn, grow, and connect right here in Newfoundland. Much appreciation to the student organizing committee for the hard work that has gone into the event. Vision 33 are excited to support the local student tech community. Good luck to the tech enthusiast participants, and may the odds be in your favor. So thanks to all the gold sponsors for their support and for their messages. And we have also silver sponsors. So Colab, Paganel, and Breathe Sweet would like to thank them so much for their support and for their resources. Also, another important thing that we should mention is our partners. So we'd like to thank each of our partners individually. So the IEEE, the MUN IEEE student branch and the MUN Computer Science Society are the backbone for this hackathon and are the main organizing forces behind it. So we'd like to thank them. And I would also like to thank Balanced Health Innovation again for being one of our partners in providing extended support in organization, in logistics, in time, and in resources. Brilliant Labs also for providing us with their educational resources. We'd also like to thank TechNL for providing promotion and for their membership gifts. And last but not least, we'd like to forward some thanks to the City of Mount Pearl for their organizational guidance. So the folks at the City of Mount Pearl, they organize Hacking Mount Pearl, so I should also check that out. So that's it. So over to you again, Mike.
Alrighty, thank you, Kamal. So what we're going to be going through is here's the I'm just going to throw up the agenda there for you. So we're going to set the stage right off the top of what's a hackathon. Just make sure that everyone is on the same page of what you're going to be getting into. We'll do some housekeeping after that. Then we'll have our keynote speaker do a run through of her presentation. We'll talk about the challenges and the prizes, and we'll wrap it up with some tips and next steps. So with that said, we'll go to the next slide, and we'll run a 2-minute presentation, and then we'll keep going. Take it away. Alrighty.
Hackathon is a weekend-long invention competition. Students show up on a Friday or Saturday, dream up a crazy idea like a website, a mobile app, or a robot, and then bring it to life over the course of a weekend and share it with their peers.
Actually, Germany and Spain here that I was talking to earlier, like people coming all over the world to come to these things.
We support tens of thousands of students at hundreds of universities to help them learn, build, and share brand new technology creations with the world.
It's like you always have these ideas and you know there's so much you can do, but until you come to hackathon, you don't realize you can actually do it.
For me, the most inspiring part is, like the fact that sponsors are sending like the engineers to come here and talk to us, and we can learn so much from them.
We always look out for the new talent, new entrepreneurs to build new businesses so that we can really help them in that.
Hackers who attend MLH events are not the type of hackers that you hear about on the news. They're not breaking into banks or stealing your credit card. These are people who love the process of creating technology.
The energy and the passion that they have, I think we all need to pitch in and give them a wonderful experience.
Like just the amount of people that I've met through hackathons, the amount of like super cool friends I've met that are also passionate about building stuff, about just like making things and being creative.
This is my first one, jumping in deep into the pool, so yeah, I'm excited.
come in and like oftentimes you don't know what you're doing, right? And it's just the ability to learn on the spot, to meet people who can teach you, to figure out a way of solving a problem.
Don't feel pressured to have to create something. Just go for it, because the experience in itself is definitely worth it.
Excellent. So, why a hackathon? So the big thing that you want to pull away from that the video is it gives you a chance to try. It gives you an opportunity to try new things, and it's the fastest way to learn something. I've won local and I've won national hacks myself, and I find that it is a great once you put yourself in a time constraint, the way your learning accelerates. So not only is it a great place to learn, but it also gives you a great sort of opportunity to network, like they were saying, meeting mentors and other folks. The other thing is that the folks that I've met at hackathons myself, I'm still good friends with, and so the friendships that you could create on your teams will certainly endure. The other big thing is that there's some pretty sweet prizes here, and we'll get into those later. So that's always a great motivator, and it's also a chance to have some fun. A lot of times, if you're in school, I mean, you're sort of digging into whatever you're dealing with, like in terms of coding and stuff. But this is a sort of a permission to have fun with what you're learning, especially on the computer science side. So that's one of the big things, is never forget that this is about having fun and in tandem with learning. Just flip it over there next. So I'm going to throw it back to you, Kamal, and we're going to give you a run through of each of the platforms for the weekend.
Awesome. So we wanted to give you a quick rundown of the two main technology platforms that we will be using to communicate with you throughout the hackathon. So the first one is Slack. So first of all, if you haven't joined our Slack yet, please do so. So some tips. First of all, here's an overview of the channels. So make sure that you join all of them if you're not on them. This is the main platform we will be sending all the useful information. So always keep an eye out on that. So there's a channel for announcements. We'll be making the more important announcements and what's happening in the event. Also, a couple of important channels to note is the help desk. So this is where you can ask any sort of questions, and one of our dedicated team members will be there to answer your question. We have also a memes channel. So this is a time for you to flex your creativity and try to come up with a meme. And there's a sweet surprise also there that will be revealed later. And also noteworthy is the channel for team formation. So team formation is still going, and we will mention some details about that. So if you're not in a team yet, go there and write some information about what kind of team you're looking to get into, and try to form a team there. So the next tip is try to keep it organized. So there's a feature in Slack where you can reply in thread. So try to use that as much as you can. The other cool feature about Slack is that you can send direct messages over there to your group. So you can have group messages privately so that you can communicate with your group easier. So that's about it for Slack. And then Hop is the other platform that we'll be using for the live sessions of the event. So there are 5 main areas or tabs in Hopin. The reception, the stage, sessions, networking, and expo. So the reception is just for the full schedule. So if you can go there, you can check the full schedule and where things are happening. And next is the stage. So the stage is for the main event segments, like the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. The sessions, so this is where workshops will be happening. This is where the parallel judgings will be happening. So the workshops will be recorded for you, and they will be uploaded to our YouTube channel for you to see them later. And the links for that will be posted on our Slack channel. But the mentor sessions, the private mentor sessions, will not be recorded. More on that will be discussed later by Mike. So the next tab is the networking. So networking is just random networking. So you go there and you're entered in a room with a random person, and you get to know them better. So it's sort of, to replace the lack of physical presence. So this is a good feature that you can use, and we have dedicated times for that. Finally, the expo. So expo is where the sponsor have their booths. So that's happening on Saturday, and Mike will be getting into the schedule in a second. So you can go live on screen with them or use the chat in there to ask them questions. And yeah, so another thing about Hopin is the chat. So that's the last thing I'm going to mention, is that there is two types of chat in Hopin. There is the event chat and the stage chat, or basically a Windows-specific chat. So please try to use the event chat sparingly, just for main questions, and use the tab-specific or Windows-specific chat for questions if you are in the stage or if you are in a workshop, for example. So these are some tips to keep in mind. So back to you, Mike, with the event schedule.
Alrighty, and thanks for letting me know in the it was good use of the chat about my mic. I hope you guys can hear me really well here now. Alright, let's throw it up there. So we got 3 days of action for you. So for Friday, it's for today we're going to have a GitHub workshop to give you the ins and outs of it. Like Kamal was talking about, we're going to do some speed networking. And then for game night is going to be, well, just sort of get everyone together and relax, have a bit of fun. I think we've got a game of Among Us planned. Let's see now. And for Saturday, we're going to have sponsored booths. We're going to have a hackathon to hot startup workshop. That's going to be done by Chandra Kavanaugh. We'll have a CAD workshop set up by Brilliant Labs. The design workshop will be hosted by Vision 33. AWS workshop will be done by our folks, our awesome folks at Sequence Bio. And then during the whole day, there'll be times where you can jump in and chat to mentors, and I'll be one of them. Then we'll have some exciting mini games and networking. For the last day, we'll be seeing Chandra again on how to pitch a workshop. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to have 2 rounds of judging, because there's so many of us, which is great. We're going to be doing 2 rounds in sort of a funnel or a round robin. Not a round robin, but sort of narrowing down the final teams. Then we'll do our closing ceremonies and wrap things up. So that is the schedule. And just to the next one. This is the some more housekeeping in terms of code of conduct. Remember that hackathons are marathons, and that it's really important to sort of have fun, be kind to each other, and keep the hacking spirit of being supportive. So with that, I'm going to get things prepared and have things thrown over to Chandra for our keynote speaker. So up next is Dr. Chandra Kavanaugh. She's the director of Balanced Health Innovations, and she'll give you warm greetings, and then she'll throw it back to me, and we'll keep things going. So welcome, Chandra. Yay!
Yay! Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
Yep, good to see you.
Yes, it's nice to see you too. And this is so incredibly exciting. So I'm really here to welcome everyone to Hackfrost NL version 1.0, hopefully many, many versions to come. So as was said, my name is Chandra Kavanaugh, and I am the director of Bounce Health Innovation. So Bounce Health Innovation is a med tech startup cluster. We are the first of our kind in the province, and we support entrepreneurs in medical technology as well as in health innovation. So we're incredibly proud to be sponsoring this event alongside Verafin and the Memorial University Faculty of Engineering and Applied Science. COVID-19 has been tremendously disruptive, especially when it comes to healthcare, medical technology, and that space. But with that disruption comes immense opportunity. So top decision makers have recognized that old solutions are not working, and digital innovations are being embraced like never before across sectors. So today is your chance to participate in crafting meaningful solutions to pressing issues, and all eyes are currently on people like you, youth, students, innovators, to lead us into the future. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at our workshop, Hackathon to Hot Tech Startup, a how-to guide. Bounce has a number of examples of successful companies that started at hackathons just like this one and are now improving healthcare here at home in Newfoundland and Labrador, but across the country and across the world, quite frankly. So take this opportunity seriously. This might be your chance to really build a team that you can move forward into the future. So I'm also looking forward to hearing your pitches as a member of the judging panel on Sunday. If you're interested in health entrepreneurship and in events, further events like this one, you can follow Bounce Health Innovation on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if any of your NANs are in the audience, you can follow us on Facebook. I know Facebook is not cool anymore. Before I go, I want to make sure that I acknowledge and thank the Hackfrost organizers. I have never worked with a more passionate, professional, or dedicated group of students. It takes a lot to host these digital events. I know because Bounce hosts many of them. And these guys are just setting an incredibly, incredibly high standard. So I just want to say good luck to all of the teams, and I really can't wait to hear what you come up with. So thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing some of you in our workshops over the next couple of days. So Mike, I think I'll throw it back to you.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excellent. So now we're going to get into the challenge, and I'm going to throw it over to Mohammed, and he'll walk you through what you're going to be up to this weekend. Take it away, Mohammed. Yay!
Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Chandra, for that awesome speech. So the challenge, I guess this is what everybody's waiting for. So let's start the challenge. That's supposed to be a terminal, by the way, if you didn't catch that. Just a heads up. So the challenge reads, how can we use technology to accelerate our societal recovery from COVID-19? So as you all know, for the past year, COVID-19 has been the center of attention around the world, affecting millions of lives. Although vaccines are rolling out, the impact of the pandemic is still evident and will exist for a while. So we decided for the first ever edition of Hackfrost to revolve the challenge around this issue and harness the power of the innovative minds that are present today to hopefully come up with creative and effective solutions over the weekend. So yeah. So that might sound like a very broad challenge, but just to narrow it down a little bit, we will be looking at the impact of COVID-19 in 4 sectors of our society. First, we will look at the economic impact. So just in the past year, there has been an estimate of $3.5 trillion in wage losses. This is on a global scale, of course. Next, the impact on education, where over 190 governments worldwide has shut down schools at some point last year, some continuing in remote learning, while other schools didn't have the resources available for such change or shift. The pandemic also impacted a lot of people on their mental health. where it's seen that depression rate has tripled in the past year. And finally, the healthcare system has been proven to be flawed in many ways during the pandemic, which is very unfortunate, whether it's shortage of medical supplies or lack of automation and technological advancements in general. So to kind of go into a little bit of detail, we're going to be breaking up each of these sections. So first, the economic impact. So again, the global economy has shrunk by an estimate of 4.4% in 2020. So 4.4% might not seem like a lot, but on a global scale, that's like trillions of dollars. On a Canadian scale, 58,000 Canadian businesses have become inactive over the past year. The Canadian Federation of Independent Business has stated that 180,000 Canadian businesses are on the verge of closing, with over 500,000 people losing their jobs. So it's very unfortunate, and there's a lot of potential here to come up with idea, maybe to assist businesses in the conversion to e-commerce, or exploring tech in general that helps in safe reopening of businesses. So next, the educational impact, which might be more familiar to you guys since most of you are students. But learning and development has been interrupted for millions of students, just like we mentioned. There's a huge lack in hands-on learning. For example, lab components. For a lot of undergraduate programs like engineering, chemistry, health science, these programs rely on in-person labs as a significant portion of their learning experience. So there has been attempts for virtualizing these labs using simulation software, but even with virtual labs, there's room for improvement. So that's a potential field to tap into. And next, there's a decrease in personalized learning. So this includes one-on-one tutoring or special need teaching for people with learning disabilities. There's been a decrease in this area, and you might want to explore ways and methods of making personalized learning more accessible and conductible. Next is the disconnectivity between students and the school community in general. So for the past year of doing remote learning, my friends and I have felt that the school experience is not the same. The school spirit is not at its best. A lot of on-campus events have either been canceled or postponed, and the overall school community just has been disconnected. So there might be potential ideas in bringing back that school spirit through technology and trying to connect students wherever they are worldwide. And lastly, assessment difficulties. I personally struggled with online testing. Even besides the technical difficulties, there's an inconvenience in asking the professor a question during the test, or trying to scan your paper and submit it on time. And as well as from the school's point of view. So it's very hard to ensure academic integrity and the accuracy of the evaluation. So there might be some brainstorming there that can help improve these issues. Just next slide. Yeah, so to understand the struggle of students a little bit more, let's look at the following survey that was conducted by Memorial University sometime around July, I believe, of last year. There was 270 engineering students surveyed, both graduate and undergraduate. So some of the issues highlighted for undergrad students, for example, is just struggling with course material in general. And they're concerned about their study environment. So a lot of these students went back home to live with their families. They might have siblings or relatives living with them. So there's a lot of distraction and difficulty in learning. And a lot of these students are also worried about job security. So if you're familiar at MUN, co-op is a huge portion of the learning experience. And there's been a huge decrease in securing internships and work terms in general. In contrast to the graduate students, a lot of them are struggling with attendance for synchronous lectures. So a lot of these graduate students are actually parents, and they have kids, and they have obligations to go to. So they're struggling with going to these live lectures and having that one-on-one interaction with the instructor or the professor. So also the results of this survey, there's like a lot of important stats that we didn't mention here, but they will be linked in our drive. So we will share the link to our drive on Slack, and you can go in there and look at the results of this survey to kind of like brainstorm your idea for the hackathon. So now for the next two, I'll hand it over to Kamal to explain a little bit more.
Sounds good. So as Mohammed explained, so the challenge is we divided it down into 4 streams. So Mohammed just explained the economical and the educational impact, and now I'm going to go into the emotional and the healthcare impact. So the emotional impact, we're talking about the mental health issues that has happened like over the last year. So in a stat, conducted by the CPSS, um, only 55% of Canadians reported very good or excellent mental health in 2020, compared with 68% of Canadians before the pandemic. And that's like a 13% decline. So it's a major issue that a lot of people face, and there's a lot of reasons that lead to that. And one of the most alarming things is that the youth category, which is ages from 15 to 24, showed the greatest decline in the reporting of their mental health state. So there's like a lot of potential here to tap into remote personal support or personal like e-health and counseling. Um, so all of us, like, we have experienced some sort of like mental health or like related issues. So there's a lot of potential here to try and help people out with this struggle. So next, I'm going to be discussing the healthcare impact. So the losses from COVID-19 has been devastating on a lot of scales, but perhaps the most devastating of all is the loss of lives. And when it comes to the healthcare system, there is a limited amount of, like limited number of patients. So there is a capacity for each, hospital and healthcare system. So even healthcare workers have been affected by depression, which lead to medical errors. So for the last year, there has been an increase in like digital health. So there has been a major transformation in how the healthcare providers deliver services through virtual care. So the healthcare system, there has been a lot of flaws that have been revealed, like Mohammed mentioned earlier. And the healthcare system, it appeared like it was not designed to handle such a pandemic of this size. And there are a lot of areas where the system can improve. And there are still a lot of areas where we can fast track the recovery from COVID-19. So with that being said, I'm going to throw it back to Mohammed to wrap the challenge.
Yeah, thanks, Kamal. So just to conclude the prompt, your solution must help in the economic, educational, emotional, or healthcare recovery from COVID-19. So you pick one of these fields and you build your solution entirely in that field. To kind of explain the solution a little bit more, I'll hand it back over to Mike.
All right. This is just an excuse for me to wear all my nerdy stuff. So that's the only reason why I joined. I'm just kidding. I think it's great. Now, so the big thing I want to cover here is how should your solution look like? So there are no limits to what you can design. The biggest thing that you need to remember is your time constraint. So you're going to have to keep that in mind. So your presentation, could be an app, could be a website, could be a working prototype. But probably the best way to explain it is to explain what I went through within a hack. So if you just go through the next one. So what you're looking at now, it was a website that was developed within over a weekend, and I called it MetaClinic. And I had this idea that I wanted to show the average wait time at one of the blood clinics. So I pitched an idea. I only had 2 minutes to pitch to an audience. I grabbed 4 developers for my team, and over the weekend, we designed a sort of based on the metadata that I had that I collected. But in your cases, you can easily just create sort of dummy data or synthetic data. It doesn't matter. But the overall point that I was trying to make was I was trying to demonstrate the average wait times for a particular clinic in St. John's. The overall my objective was to show the value of metadata in general, And doing that was such a hard thing to do. So that's why I narrowed it down to a sort of a particular use case, which was wait times at blood clinics. So because of that, I was able to co-win the first Hacking Health Hackathon here, and I went on to do a different one at can you guys hear me now? It looks like I'm dropping out. To do one on national. My point is that my team, I had four really strong developers, and the biggest challenge that we had was organizing our time. So if you just want to go to the next slide there, Kamal. Awesome, thanks. So you'll be doing a live pitch on Sunday, and the pitch will be either slideshows, you can do demos, you can do screenshots of your work, you can show your app, your website. The key thing is that you got to manage your time and have that one person do the presentation. That way, it just makes it easier just from a logistics perspective. So you can have other teams do, of course, a variety of things, but one person will be responsible for actually doing the presentation. So if you have any further questions about that, you can easily throw a question into the chat, or you can grab one of us, and we'll certainly get into it further. With that said, we're going to go next to the judging. So the judging process is going to be, because there's going to be so many of you, the teams will be randomly assigned into one or two pools, and each will make a presentation. So you'll have a total of 5 minutes, but after 3 minutes, you'll be cut off because we want to have an opportunity to do Q&A. Each panel will decide on the two teams to proceed to the final round, and the second round, the two teams will fight it out, and then we'll go from there. For the judging criteria, we have three main buckets that you're going to be evaluate on: feasibility, creativity, design, and presentation. So the feasibility is like how practical. So if it's just a sort of a slide presentation, you want to get into like how realistic and practical is it going to be pulled off. Creativity and design is like how, is it well structured, as well as does it have a sort of a creative flair for it. And presentation is not to be forgotten, where you might have a super awesome app or whatever, but you really need to take the time to put into practicing your pitch at the end, because it's going to cost you 20%. For the panelists, if you want to go to the next one, we have Tom Cooper from Memorial University. He's an associate professor with the Faculty of Business. We have Jeff Gallant. He's the software team lead with Verafin. Stephanie is an instructional assistant with the Computer Science Department at Memorial University. And we've just met the super awesome Chandra. For panel 2, we have Ross Houlihan. He's an economic development professional working for the City of St. John's. Dan Brake, he's the executive vice president of operation at Sequence Bio. We have Florian, who is the director of Memorial University of Center on Entrepreneurship, and Juliet, who is the personal, transformational, and success coach. I need one of those in my life. Alrighty, things to note. The rules. This is the teams will be asked to stop the hacking at 1 p.m. Newfoundland time on Sunday. Your work should be completed at the hackathon, and the one key thing to keep an eye on is GitHub. So in the sense of, you should try to avoid creating, stuff that you can leverage within code libraries and what have you within GitHub. So that will sort of save you a whole whack of time. The other thing to mention is that I think I got into the time thing again. The reason why I'm sort of underscoring the whole time thing is that it's one of these things within hacks that creeps up on you. So it's something to be super conscious of. So let's go to the next one. Disclaimer, here we have our fine print, but basically is to be kind and be nice to everyone, and everything will go super awesome. So with that said, we have the next part is on Saturday. We have a mentor session where you'll be able to jump in and chat with two mentors in the hop-in session. We'll have a total, I think we've got 5 or 6 that you can sign up. The bookings will be through the spreadsheet, and you can enter in the time that you want. So it's kind of like when you want to, it's similar to when you want to go see a prof, but the point is that we want to make sure that everyone has a good opportunity to sit down and have a chat with mentors and throw some ideas around and to give you a hand. Other hacking resources will be found, if you want to go to the next one, thank you. There's the big thing to remember is Slack is going to be your hub. So with that, the most of the sort of announcements will be under the announcements channel. They'll direct you accordingly. There are also available is AWS cloud credits, so you can reach you can get a hold of those through sending an email to one of the team members. Just Mohammed, if you could pop in, is there a particular email address that people should use?
Yeah, so you can email any questions to info@hackfrostnl.ca. That will be linked in our Slack as well.
Yeah. So these are some tips to keep an eye on. Is of course keep an eye on Slack. Have when you're doing your ideation, it's really important and to be silly and to go crazy and just think broad and wide about any idea, and then work your way down from that. This is supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be, to get your creative juices sort of going. So remember to sort of, besides sort of, getting your juices, your creative juices flowing, is to get some rest. Organizers that you've met here and others that are behind the scene, we're here to help you. And we're, by all means, feel free to ask any question. And the one thing is to keep in mind is if you're working in person, to make sure that you abide by the COVID guidelines in your area. So with that, the one way to get yourselves organized is to sort of think of sort of break it down a bit in terms of dividing your time. You want to get a chance. Some of your team members you might not be met before, so you want to understand your team members' interests. There might be a particular something that they're really interested in understanding or learning more. So you just get to know each other a little bit better. Then you can sort of brainstorm some ideas and work and then from there you got to come up with some kind of a game plan of how you can implement it. Is it something that you can whip up over a weekend in terms of a website or an app, or should you do more of a sort of a storyboard with a presentation? So that's one of those key points where what I've discovered in other hackathons in hacks is that you want to sort of, I call it time boxing, where you give yourself enough time that you do your brains, getting to know people, you do your brainstorming, but then you want to time box and say, okay, enough is enough. We got to decide on, this particular idea or this particular solution, and then you got to move into the next part, which is how you're actually implementing it. You want to be, reach out to mentors and attend where you want to in terms of the workshops. They'll be live, or you can watch the recordings. And then you get down to the coding. You want to either you're going to code it or you're going to craft up your slides. The last thing, which is probably one of the most important things, is you want to practice your pitch, practice your solution. So that way it's not one of these things that you leave to the very, very end and then you're scrambling. I was at one hack and they had a super awesome idea where they just simply ran out of time when it came to the presentation of it. So that's why you see 20% of the presentation. You want to make sure that you balance it from a perspective of keeping things tight, and then you give yourself enough opportunity to sort of make that you have enough time to shine. So with that said, all that work is not going to be, so whatever effort you put in, everyone's going to get some super swag. So it'll be you'll be down the road, you'll be getting a nice package with t-shirts, stickers, and bags, and who knows what else in there. So with that said, I'm going to throw it over to Kamal, and he'll walk you through the prizes.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. So really excited for this part. So I know you guys have been looking forward to it. So for the prizes, we're going to, for the first place, we're going to give out a startup with IBM. So this is $10,000 in cloud credits per month for a year. So it can help you build your startup and sort of scale it if you wish. And then there is also partnered with Bounce. So Bounce Health Innovation is like one of our premium diamond sponsors, and they can they help you out with like resources for finding funding, attending network shop, and all sorts of events, and they can help you really take your startup to the next level. And then Verafin, which is also one of our diamond sponsors, is presenting AirPods. So for each of the team members, they will get one of those AirPods. And then last but not least, there are prizes from us. So each of the 4 team members will get to choose one of those prizes. So the prizes for the first place are listed down here. We chose things that are cool gadgets that you guys can play around with and sort of be a memorable thing from the hackathon. So for the second place, TechNL have generously gave out some of its membership. So we'll be giving out a membership to each of the members in the second place winner. And Brilliant Labs are also giving out cloud-enabled microcontroller boards, which are really cool, to each one of the team members. And also, we'll also be providing a choice of one of those items for the winning team. So each of the team members again would get to choose one, and we will basically deliver it to each member. And finally, for the third place, also TechNL memberships, and you get to choose one of those 3 cool items: a speaker, anti-theft backpack, and a 24-inch monitor. Also, there are other prizes that we will be giving out. So we have some mini games that are happening. So we'll be giving out some cool prizes, such as an Amazon Echo Studio, and also some sponsors have games. So the MCE and Vision 33 have some games that are happening. That will be announced, and there are prizes for those. So make sure to go and have some fun, and maybe you could win something. There's also going to be some prizes announcement here and there, so keep an eye out for that. So lastly, we want to present the team behind this. So there is a massive team behind this of 16 volunteers from Memorial University of Newfoundland. So I want to thank each of them individually for all the hard work behind the scenes that they've been doing and trying to get this hackathon in the way it is. So we have, myself, Kamal, and then Muhammad Adam, who is the ops lead, and then we have Zach as the logistics lead. We have Vilakshan, marketing lead, and Yusuf in finance lead. And we have Madison, Divya, Sean, and more on the next slide. We have Sam, we have Kamal, we have Rishi, Rahaf, Kareem, David, Abhijit, and Elliot. So they've really been working so hard to get this hackathon for you guys. So we're excited to see how it all unfolds. And lastly, if you have any questions, and I'm sure there will be a lot of questions, so you can ask us in the Slack channel specific for questions. So help desk, go there and ask all sorts of questions. You could also email us in this email or reach out to us on Facebook, but the best way is through Slack. So make sure you are there and you are on the help desk. We will try to be available overnight and throughout the event so that we can answer your question. We know we have a big international audience, so we're there for you and we will try to get to you as soon as we can. So with that said, we'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll pass it over back to Mike.
Awesome. So a big shout out to and a big thank you to the Hack Frost NL team. They've done a lot of work, and it's awesome to see that this is a student run, student led initiative, and that's what we love seeing in come out of our growing and ever growing health innovation ecosystem here in Newfoundland Labrador. So I'm not going to take up any more of your time because you've got a lot to digest, and I think it's time to sort of to get things going. So I think we've got one more slide.
Yeah, so stay frosty. Yeah, so thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, and you should come back. Yeah, you should come back to the stage. Yeah, so this is all for you guys, and I hope everyone has a good time. Like Kamal was saying, key thing is to keep an eye on Slack, because that's where we're going to keep things going. And we'll see you guys super soon. And thank you for joining us, and have fun. All right, take care. Be kind.